One of the big things about voice acting in particular is that sometimes, even though you're just recording the voice is actually one of the most important parts, because you can only go so far, especially with bionicles. You can only go so far to convey uh, physical action and stuff with the characters themselves. So it's really down to the voice work to help convey the sense of emotion, the sense of what the character's thinking at the time, whether he's figuring something out or if he's really mad or what have you. It's really down to the voices. So in the first two seasons of Chronicles of the Chronicler, I did all the voices of all the characters, even though it was not intended to be that way, because originally in Fallen Order, my friend Bailey was going to be doing the voice of Holly, but unfortunately scheduling prevented that, and there were a bunch of other things going on at the time, so she never ended up doing it, and by the time we would have gotten around to doing it was when comics got picked up by the film club, so I wanted to have her in that. So when Lost World rolled around, that was the first time voices other than my own were used in a season. Of course, that season featured 5 cast members, which were Shannon, Frank, Carl, Lauren, and myself. This season is just 4, which is Shannon, Frank, myself, and my friend Sarah, who also did some voice work in comics. There were considerably less characters in Search for Life, and I did that purposefully because in Lost World I think it kind of got a little out of hand, the number of characters that there were, and I have a hard time creating voices, and some voices I have a hard time recreating, like Nuparo's voice in particular in the last one. I had a hard time recreating, but I think I finally got a rhythm for it. Jowler sometimes is harder to recreate, which is one of the reasons I keep doing the Takua and Jowler videos too, so I can keep the Jowler voice going a little better. It kind of changes periodically, but I try to keep it a little more consistently to this character voice. Really, there's not much more I can say about Jowler's voice in this behind-the-scenes video than I already said in the previous season's behind-the-scenes video. Is that Jowler has more of a rougher, tougher kind of voice, so I always feel myself making this face too. Can you really see it with my hat? But I feel like I'm making this face whenever I do Jowler's voice. For Takua, again, Takua is basically my own voice, maybe slightly higher in the pitch, and he's got a little bit more, how should I say this? He's got a little bit more urgency to his voice than I normally have. I feel myself, even though it's basically my real voice, I feel myself putting on this character that really is more of a character, I guess is the only word I can say. Of course, there are other voices in this one that I do, just like any of the other ones, but the big point in this one is not the fact that I'm doing all the voices again. The big point in this one is that I'm not doing the main character voices, or the lead character voice anymore, which now that is transitioned from Takua to Holly, so now my friend Shannon is the voice of Holly. She was first in Lost World as Holly, and she was excited to come back and be Holly again for Search for Life. And also, obviously Shannon does a lot better job doing Holly than I do, because obviously she's a girl and I'm a boy, so me doing Holly was always kind of a not that good of a decision, and I was really blessed to have Shannon to do this one. Also with her is Frank, who was in the previous season as Tahu. He's come back and plays Tahu again, as well as another character who you have not yet met at this point in the series. So Frank's one of my favorite voices of the characters, because that voice just really fits Tahu. He has this real sense of, like a sense of importance, I want to say. I don't know if that's necessarily what I'm trying to go for, but this Tahu as a character, he's kind of a little bit self-absorbed, and Frank really conveys more of a calculating. He makes Tahu more real. I don't know what else. I don't know a better way to say it than he makes Tahu more real. There's a new cast member who has not been in any previous season, and that is my friend Sarah. Shannon, Frank, Sarah, and I, we all went to school together. We even, the 4 of us all served on the MCC Student Senate. We also were all in drama club together. met Sarah through Film Club originally when we did our first ever Film Club project, which, again, like I said last season, none of us want to talk about that. And then she also, during production for Sam's Comics, when Bailey, who was the lead lady of that, when she had to leave, we did not have two lines of dialogue that we did not have for Bailey. It was not like we had video, or we needed the video for Bailey doing it, we just needed the audio, and Sarah had a really similar voice, so that was the first time Sarah had been in one of my projects.
Syria.
Yeah, let's go.
Hello.
How long have you been standing there?
Since you started talking about buttons.
Oh.
1,000 casualties. I say pickets.
Hey Sam, school got let out early, so I'm coming over for lunch. See you soon.
Divisions involved in the charge. General Pettigrew, General Trimble. This assault broke the back of the Confederacy.
You too. Oh, but before you go, we're having a party. Would you like to come?
It would be my pleasure.
Well, I'll have one of these guys get you the dates and stuff.
Yeah, sure thing. Come on, pick up your phone.
Hey, you reached Bailey Isabel. Sorry I can't come to the phone right now, but I'll call you back as soon as I can. Bye.
I tried to do voices even better in this one. There's a slightly different editing technique that I used in this film that I did not use in the previous film, where previously I would just have the recording part and I would take an individual line, isolate that out into one file. But in this one, I actually did something that's a ton easier, and I can't believe I never thought of doing it like this before. And it's what I've been doing with the Taku and Jaller, the Adventures of Taku and Jaller videos, is that I'll take the recordings, isolate each other's lines, but then mix all the dialogue together into one file, and then edit to that dialogue file, which is a ton easier than just isolating individual lines and saving those into individual files. It made the editing process that much smoother, which the editing process for stop motion is one of the most difficult editing processes in the world. So anything that can be done to make it easier is always a good thing. And I was really glad that we were able to do that in this film. My fashion sense is off the roof. I'm wearing my new plaid shorts and my Star Trek shirt. And I wouldn't be a filmmaker if I didn't have my filmmaking hat. Originally in I keep wanting to say Lost World, but had a really Sarah I'll get to that later. Just forget what I just said and remember it later on. You could give Kelsey Grammer a run for his money.
In the meantime,
That's good, yeah. That one's not going to be pleasant.
ladies and gentlemen, we went from rated PG to PG-13.
Let's not go to R.
But R is the best. It's the best letter. Because you're R, you're going to pirate.
For all you little kids, please ask your parents' permission before watching any further of this video.
You can't watch.
comfortable about this.
I don't feel comfortable about this either. Either.
Trademark.
Another word. I should have like a word. I should have like a bank of just words we've invented today.
Yes. Trademark words.